All right. Excellent. All right, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We already got some comments. Olimar 124, an incredibly pertinent life lesson for my life. Looking forward to it. You know what? This actually is probably the comment I've been getting a lot. Because this week we are going to be scoring unrequited love. Specifically, obsessive, persistent, unrequited love. Which, this is the first time I've ever gotten this request. Which is why I'm kind of excited about it, because I don't really know what to expect, but the response was really good. The polls on Instagram, everybody seemed very excited about this one. Oops, sorry, my alarm is going off. And, yeah, just seems to be popular. I've received a lot of actual messages from a lot of you, actually, saying that you're excited about this one because you can relate to it. So, let's see if we can't have some fun with it, shall we? All right, we're going to learn how to write obsessive, unrequited love. Can people hear me? Welcome, Debrej. Welcome. Hello, bro. How are you? Nice to see you live again. Thank you. It's nice to see you back in the stream as well. Melodious. Welcome, welcome. All right, can people hear me? Can you hear the piano? All right, can y'all hear that? Oh, yeah. Okay, awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So, let's just dive right in, shall we? All right, so today we will be learning how to score obsessive. How do I spell obsessive? It's one S. Obsessive, persistent, maybe we should say better, is a better word. Unrequited love, all right, or heartache. So, if you've been following this channel for a little bit, you know already what the first steps are going to be. All right, so the first step that we're going to need to do is we need to figure out how to describe, we'll put this in step 1, describe your emotion as well as you can. All right, can't type today. All right, so especially, we didn't do this last week because last week, anger and wrath, it's pretty straightforward in terms of the kind of vibe I was going for. But when you're talking about unrequited love and kind of that persistent, obsessive nature behind it, there's a lot more detail that needs to go into here. Because the idea of unrequited love itself is not an emotion. All right, you're not going to ask, like, how are you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling unrequited love. No. That's not really an emotion. It's a description of a situation. So what we need to describe are the emotional responses to having unrequited love, of having feelings for someone who doesn't reciprocate them. All right? So in order to do this, we need to spend some time and figure out, okay, what actual emotions are we trying to score here? All right? Obviously, there's going to be a bit of heartache. All right? So a little bit of pain, sadness, kind of the idea that whoever you love doesn't love you back. That's going to be painful as well. But what's interesting here, for me at least, was the idea of obsessive or persistent being thrown into the mix as well, which to me gives an idea of hope. All right, so unrequited love, it sucks, but if it's persistent, it doubly sucks, right? Because if you know it's not going to happen, if you know that nothing is ever going to blossom out of this relationship, that you're never going to be able to be with the person, but you can't get rid of those emotions, it's almost a little bit of that agony. I'm thinking about like Bane from the Christopher Nolan movies, where Bane says you can't have true despair without hope. And that persistence of, oh, yeah, maybe something would happen. It's not going to happen, but you've still got that idea of, I can't get rid of these feelings. So can't get rid of the feelings. And then I'll put in double parentheses, persistence. I don't know if that's spelled correctly, but the idea of you've still got the feelings. You've still caught feelings. You've still got the crush. Even though it's not going to go anywhere, you've still got those feelings, and there's nothing you can really do about it, no matter how hard you try. All right? At least that's the kind of description that I'm getting from this submission that I was given. So right now we've got 2. All right? Does anyone else have anything you want to throw in there? I'm going to defend my decisions here, but then if anyone else has any ideas, I'd love to throw them in. So for me, when we're talking again about unrequited love is not an emotion, it is an experience. It is a situation, all right, that inspires or evokes emotions. 2 of those emotions that I would describe are heartache, which is that way of, we're going to add longing, pain, sadness, things like that. These are all dark emotional experiences. And yet there is that idea of perverse hope as well. Even though you know nothing's going to happen, you can't get rid of that crush. Those emotions are still there saying, well, what if something does happen? What if it could be love? The idea of the persistent or obsessive nature of the love, which makes it all the more painful, right? So let's see, anybody got any things? So welcome, Vincent. Welcome, Abdown. Awesome. So you can hear me. Wonderful. So I'm not saying any other comments about things people would contribute to this or what they would add. So let's move forward with these ideas here. So let's say, Deborah, it's exactly how you described. That's how I feel too. You know what? Yeah, I've been getting a lot of those messages. All right, y'all. So I'm going to teach you how to write this emotion so y'all can get some of these emotions off your chest. I have never received so many messages on Instagram or in comments from people who are like, I'm looking forward to this emotion because I'm experiencing this. I didn't get that with rage, oddly enough. But here we go. So heartache and hope. So this is what we're going to be working with. So then once we have these, we have, of course, step 2, which is define your mood/vibe. All right. If you remember what I talked about last week, the mood or the vibe from an emotion comes from 3 things. Valence, which is how dark or bright an emotion is. What was it? An emotion is. We have size, which is how overwhelming or intimate an emotion is. And we have energy, which is how energizing or depleting an emotion is. I should capitalize just for consistency. Now, energy is a bit tricky. It can be described as multiple different things. You could say how energizing or depleting an emotion is. Basically, does experiencing this give you energy or does it take energy away? Or does it push you to move? Kind of, you could think about the physical expression. Does it push you to action? For example, being excited, you want to clap, you want to dance, you want to shout for joy. For disappointment and sadness, you just kind of want to bury your head in the sand and get away from people, right? So we need to take some time and describe how our emotions, our target emotions, can be described within these terms. Now, this is tricky. Remember, we have technically 2 distinct emotional experiences that we are trying to portray here. One is the emotional experience of the crush itself, the unrequited love, that hope of you like this person and you're hoping that something can come from it. The other one that we are trying to capture at the same time is the concept of that heartache, of that disappointment, sadness, and pain of realizing, all right, it's not going to actually happen, all right? And the 2 very often are going to live together in the same experience. Lots of emotions are like this, by the way. Anytime you are trying to describe something like unrequited love, I get this question a lot. Some people ask, like, how do you score funny? How do you score? I got one comment recently asking, is hunger an emotion? It's not, but it's an experience that begets emotions. So if you're having difficulty trying to figure out how to score an emotion, chances are, think about it, is it actually an emotion or is it a scenario? If it's a scenario, spend some time to actually get to the core of it and figure out what emotions actually are at the core of it. And if you want the help with this, it wouldn't be a stream if I didn't advertise something. My emotions and music class is officially reopened. All right? I sent out a poll to see if people would be interested now that my schedule is a bit more open, and there were sufficient people who said, yeah, I'd sign up for it. So the new class begins June 3rd. That is not this Monday, but the following Monday. You can check out the website, see all the cool information about everything that it covers. You can see all the wonderful glowing testimonials I've received from past students. You can get some best suited for some frequently asked questions. Check it out. There are payment options. There are payment plans available. It's a 6-week class. Every week unlocks a new module, so you can study at your own pace. You don't have to try and keep up or feel like you're going to fall behind. But each week a new module opens up, and every week comes with a live lecture like this right here, but for a private group of only the students. You also get access to a Discord channel where the group of other students are going to be able to talk with each other. And on top of that, every week there are assignments or recommended exercises, and if you submit the music written for those exercises, I will personally write out 2 to 3 pages of feedback based off your assignment. Or if you prefer, I can also record a video like this of me looking over your music and providing the feedback like that format. So check it out, and you will learn how to do all of this cool stuff and more that I'm talking about. All right, so some comments. It's actually so Deborah's energy, it pushes, but it's exhausting. Yes, yes. All right, so that's what we're gonna get to. Let's start with the valence first. All right, valence is the easiest of the three, in my opinion. So valence, we're gonna say, let's copy this so we can keep it consistent. All right, heartache. All right. How would we describe valence in terms of darkness or brightness on that spectrum? Remember, we don't need to get too detailed here. We just want to have a basic idea is that this is a pleasant or painful emotion. I'm going to say dark, and we're going to say painful. The hope / crush. This one's a bit trickier. All right, because this has a whole lot of things we need to unpack. So in unrequited love, in this scenario, there is the hope, all right? That yearning, that longing that we described earlier in the heartache of wanting to be with the person, of wanting to develop a relationship with them, wanting to get to know them and make them part of your life. Part of love is a natural curiosity. You want to know more about that person. And so that gives you kind of an energy. It's kind of a bright experience, but it's colored by the heartache. So right now, we're going to just focus on the hope or the crush, which is itself a bright experience, all right? The hope, the idea of having like a young love or butterflies in your stomach for another person, that's a bright experience. It's the presence of the heartache that makes this much more complex. So we're going to have to create a valence that is somehow both dark and bright, which is going to be fun to explore. All right, so after that, size. This one's going to be a bit tricky. All right, in terms of how overwhelming or intimate an emotion is. So one of the kind of tests that I like to give my students in the class is to ask yourself, how distracting is this emotional experience? And how personal is it? Sometimes the two can contradict each other. So for size, you can think of almost like the energy in how physically expressive it is. Usually, if you have unrequited love or kind of that pain of an unreturned crush, you don't really want to let people know about it, right? So you hold it in, you keep it to yourself. So that would mean you'd probably want to keep it a little smaller, but at the same time, this can be a very overwhelming emotional experience. This can make, I believe the term in psych, if I'm remembering this correctly, the symptom is called anhedonia. It is a term that means basically refers to how the normal things that typically give joy to your life no longer give you joy because of some extraneous circumstance. So for example, if you're someone who really loves going to the gym, suddenly because of this emotional experience, the gym no longer makes you happy. If you love playing video games, suddenly you can only play for a little bit. You put the controller down because like this isn't hitting right. All right. So here we've got two different kind of things. I could say it could be a little conflicting. So very overwhelming / distracting, which means it's a big experience. And you know what? I'm going to leave it off at that. We're going to leave it. It's going to have relatively strong size. All right. Because I would say energy and the physical expression of the emotion would be something that would help keep it down a little bit. So, let's do the same thing we did earlier. Let's create heartache and hope and crush as separate for energy. All right, so heartache, how energizing or depleting. This is very depleting. All right, so if you've got a crush, it's unrequited love. It tears you down. It's very depleting. It does not give you lots of energy, but at the same time, that hope or that crush, that coexisting experience, makes it very difficult to how do I describe this? I'm trying to visualize this. So you've got two contrasting experiences here, right? One where the hope or the crush is energizing. All right? The excitement of being around that person. All right? At the same time, that thrill of being around that person gets tainted, all right, by the pain, / longing of unrequited feelings. All right, so this is going to be a tricky one to kind of. There's a lot of contradicting things here. I'm gonna be interested to see how this turns out. All right, I gotta get caught up on the comments, right? So Douglas, happy Friday. Yes, Debraj, size. It's not the same all the time. Sometimes it's mellow, but sometimes it's overwhelming. I like that. Thank you, Debraj. So let's say varies in size. So we could say maybe sometimes back burner doesn't distract. And then we'll say it becomes very overwhelming when forced to dwell on it. That's pretty common with lots of emotions, right? When the stimulus or whatever triggers the emotional experience, when it's in the back of your mind, it doesn't impact your day very much. But when you remember it, suddenly, bam, it becomes very overwhelming and very incapacitating, right? All right, so step 2, we've defined our mood or vibe. All right, so this gives us a description. So we'll say here, our description summary. All right, let's copy and paste this so we can keep it simple. So we've got valence equals dark / bright, some mix of the two. Our size equals small, then large. This is gonna be our energy. Is all right. So, I think I'm gonna change my approach to energy. So I've talked in the past how energy can be interpreted many different ways. Sometimes you can think of energy as how depleting or energizing an emotion is. Sometimes it can be how much it spurs you to action. I'm going to describe heartache as being energizing in 2 different ways. There's the excitement of being around that person. And then there's the energizing, the desire to do something to get their attention. Both depleting and energizing. Hurts, but makes you want to do something. Right? All right, hurts, but you want to do something. That's not a... There we go. So then energy, I'm going to say 2 layers. 1 slow, 1 rhythmic. All right, so we're going to need to create nuance. This is going to be a very, very nuanced emotional expression for music. All right, so now, so basically, we need to find a way to write music that sounds somehow both dark and bright. We need to create a size that grows with a sense of overwhelming. And then we need to have 2 different layers in the energy. 1 is slow and 1 more rhythmic. So, with all of this, it's time to start putting together a plan of what our music is going to be done. And so this is step 3, gesture. All right, so gestures are musical metaphors. All right, they are your gut instinct of how can you use the music to portray these ideas. So I actually have a couple ideas that I've come up with already. If y'all have some of your own, throw them in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys' what your ideas are. But so far, I have an idea. Use an ostinato or arpeggio in the background as a crush motif. All right, mostly major. All right, mostly I'll say mostly bright actually. Let's add some more space. All right, so using an ostinato or an arpeggio in the background is a crush, kind of something bright, something similar like an idée fixe, if you're familiar with Hector Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique. The idea of this motif that embodies the bright sides of a crush. All right, so the background is going to be all the lovely kind of energetic things of being in love and having a crush on someone and being naturally curious about someone and wanting to develop a relationship with them. The foreground should move much slower. All right, so I want the melody to be much slower. Emphasize dissonant intervals like the minor or major sevenths. All right, something like that. All right, so that'd be a sixth. All right, kind of there's lots of something to kind of build a sense of. That's from Star Wars. All right, but the idea that beautiful interval that creates a sense of like longing. Let's see. So use an ostinato arpeggio in the background is a crush motif, mostly bright. Foreground should be much slower. Emphasize dissonant intervals and feel darker. Unrequited. So sort of like a dark love theme. All right, because you can't help the things that your heart longs for. Haha, My Hero Academia quote. But there, I'm such a freaking nerd. But there's there's gonna be something that should sound sweet, but can't quite manage it, right? Let's see if you guys got any idea. Energy bright then depleting. Raise the last note of the ostinato up or down a half step or a whole step. This is proven to be fire. That could be fun. The scale Mixolydian flat 6 can be a nice scale to work with. That'd be fun. Let's see here. You know what? I think we've got enough. Let's start writing, shall we? So we already know that we have a description of our music. So let's summarize the description of music. Description of our music. All right, so we need to start brainstorming ideas. Let's use this. And as a lot of my students will attest, I am a big believer in planning ahead of time. If you're able to describe what your music should sound like before you start writing, you're going to have a lot more control, and it's going to be a lot easier to come up with something emotionally impactful. So, valence. We need dark/bright. I'm going to say, let's copy and paste this so it just stays uniform. Harmony and instrumentation are your two best friends for creating a strong valence. So harmony, I'm going to say 7th chords. Melody in extensions. Harmony in triads. So when you have, for example, minor chords, but then you add a 7th, it suddenly becomes much more ambiguous. So we're going to have some fun with that to kind of get that blend of dark and bright. Instrumentation, I'm going to say mostly strings. We'll stick with mostly strings, not only because they're a cliche and kind of love themes and emotional themes, but because the strings are capable of creating incredibly bright and incredibly dark timbres and sounds depending on where in their range they play. So they're going to be very flexible instruments. So these are my primary strategies for creating both dark and bright valences at the same time. So then next, let's do here, we need size. Start small, then get large. All right, so I'm going to say tools for this. Oops. Tools that are very useful for this, we're going to use incremental complexity, which just means you start adding one layer at a time. And we'll just say instrumentation, grow. All right, simple. We don't really need to do much for that. Energy is where things are going to get really interesting. All right, because we need to create 2 layers. One low energy, one higher energy. So to create this, I am going to say let's do slow to moderate tempo. It's easier to add energy to a slow tempo than it is to take energy from a fast tempo, in my personal opinion. We're going to say melody will include mostly long note values. Accompaniment will be more rhythmic. Let's see. Anything else I want to add here? I think we're good. Well, let's add that other gesture here. So, emphasize dissonant leaps in the melody. All right. So now we got a description of our music, right? All right. So we started off by describing our emotion, getting an idea of what it is we're actually trying to describe, because unrequited love is not an actual emotion. It is a scenario that begets complex combinations of emotions. So then we went and explored the different combinations of emotions we have and what that means in terms of valence, size, energy, and then, of course, gestures, just the natural instincts that come to us for portraying these emotions. And so we have a description of our melody, of our music. The music is going to use mostly seventh chords, all right? The melody is going to use lots of extensions. Harmony is going to be in the triads. Or maybe we'll separate that. We'll swap that around. We don't have to stick to these descriptions. Instrumentation is going to rely mostly on strings. We're going to emphasize dissonant leaps in the melody, like the seventh. We are going to use incremental complexity and instrumentation to gradually grow. And then we're going to use a slow tempo or moderate tempo. The melody will use mostly longer note values, and the accompaniment will use more rhythmic values. All right, welcome Tamashi, welcome Douglas Bradley, minor 4 chord. Ooh, that is a good idea. So I don't know if this is what you're going for, Douglas, but I've got this idea of using the romantic cadence. But what if we put a little twist on it? So instead of resolving the way it wants to, we go into a deceptive resolution. I wonder if that would work. I like that. All right, we're going to be doing that. All right. Thank you. All right, so let's start off with a chord progression, shall we? I like to have my projects. Where's project setup? Here we go. Project setups. Let's add an offset bar. Yes, keep everything where it is. I like to have a bar 0, just so I have a little wiggle room if I need to add anything beforehand. But let's see here. So we need something minor. Let's start with the dark qualities first, shall we? We're gonna start with A minor because it's easy, and then let's do our romantic cadence. All right, so what the romantic cadence is it's a major 4 chord. So whatever the fourth scale degree of your scale is, you build a major chord on it. So in A minor, A, B, C, D, technically we would go so we'd want to have D major. But I'm going to borrow this cadence from the parallel key of C major, which would be F major. Because I want it to have a deceptive resolution. If we were to say, all right, D major, D minor, that would want to resolve to A minor. So how about let's lower that an octave. All right, technically it would want to resolve to A major, but we can still do A minor. But I am going to borrow from the parallel major scale to create more of a deceptive resolution. If you want to learn more about all of that stuff, if that's not making sense to you, don't worry. This isn't a music theory stream, so I'm not going to dive into it too much. But if you would like to learn more about music theory, I have free classes. These are very high quality classes, by the way. This one right here, Music Theory and Harmony 1, will take you through, basically, I've got over 250 videos on my YouTube channel. So the idea of these classes is I thought, all right, what if someone came to my channel and wanted to say, all right, which of these videos should I watch and in which order to learn everything I need to know about music theory and harmony to just have a very strong background in chord progressions. And that's what this class is. It's every video I've ever made that could be watched about harmony organized into an order I recommend, with articles added to help bridge the gaps in between and make sure it's all cohesive. This class is actually by far the most popular. I think this one alone has over 160 students who have enrolled in it, and great reviews. So check it out, 100% free. If you want to learn more about emotions and music, this class is currently open for a new cohort, starts on June 3rd. Sign up quickly before all the spaces are taken, because I'm not sure if I'm going to do another one after this. It depends on how much interest there is in this cohort. So anyway, all that to say, I've got my idea of how I'm going to end it. All right, a nice deceptive cadence. Then let's quickly just fill the rest of this out. All right, so we've got A minor, D minor, A minor, E minor, A minor, E major, F major, all right, so this is our chord progression. Let's quickly voice lead. Well, first, let's avoid the voice leading for now, actually. And let's add our sevenths. So now suddenly, our chord progression of is going to have a very different personality. And why does it have that change in personality? Is because it blurs the lines between major and minor chords. For example, here, A minor 7. A minor 7 has all the notes for A minor, but these top 3 notes are C major. So we essentially have a combination of an A minor, of a minor triad, a major triad, all combined into a single chord. So it sends blurry lines. So, I'm thinking, I'm not thinking. Let's just not overthink it. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, hold up. I'm going to think a little bit. Let's bring down the velocity a little bit. All right, so we've got our chord progression. Next, let's create our melody, shall we? All right, so to create the melody, I wanted this to move very slowly, right? Well, first, let's change the harmony, the tempo. So we'll get about 90. So right now, what we've done is we've used our 7th chords. We're good with that. We now have a slow to moderate tempo. We're good with that. So now we're going to just start building out the rest. Right now, I want my melody to emphasize darker intervals, right? So let's actually just, right off the bat, let's start off with a strong one. Let's do A to G. All right. I'm going to pick 2 notes from each chord. So we're going to have a large leap up, and then let's slowly find our way back down. So we got D minor. So which one should we do? We've got our motif. Let's do period structure, which is one I tend to go towards. So period structure says pick 2 notes, 2 bars, and create a motif. The next 2 bars should have a completely different motif. So let's continue moving down here. So let's go up just a little bit. E, and we'll come down to C, and then we'll keep moving down. So we have our main motif, a new idea, and now we're going to repeat our main motif because period structure says start with an idea, introduce a new idea, repeat the main idea, but with a bit of variation. This time we need to make sure it still fits. There is no F underneath our chord, so let's bring it down to the E. Let's go down, and then the D can stay. And we'll do F. We'll do, so period structure says idea, new idea, repeat the original idea with a little bit of variation if need be, and then just find a way to end it. Let's build a lot of pull into that D right there. And we'll do, let's see here. Let's actually not do the D there. Let's go to F. Actually, let's do G sharp. Give us a nice little peak, a new high note. Let's do C. We'll move our way up. F. All right, so now let's listen to our proto melody. This is not the finished product, but it's the basic shape. I kind of like that. So then if we put this on a loop, we can see how it all kind of connects to itself. All right, I just realized I'm kind of blanking out on the comments, right? So wonderful. Okay, so Jack says this my emoji lists is keeping me from seeing the whole thing. So adding the 5 C into the F minor 7 on bar 8 sounds nice. Adding the 5. Oh, yeah, so adding the, I've added the 6th. So this would be F minor, so it'd be F major, F minor. I decided to do F minor, F major, then F minor 6, and then deceptive resolution to A minor. So instead of going the way it wants to, we go. And again, you can learn all this really cool harmony on music theory 2 ways, all right? The first, check out my free class. But if you want to go a step further, if you want to if you want to go through music school completely guided by yours truly, or the next best thing, go to the bookshop, check out my composition textbook. All right, I actually have the editing copy right here. This thing is a monster. 400 pages, people, 35 chapters. This was designed with the goal in mind that anyone with any background in music, even if it's just you happen to like music but don't know how to play an instrument or anything about music theory, can pick up and read it cover to cover, and by the end, you're writing professionally for orchestra in terms of skill level. The whole point was to get building on cumulative knowledge so you have everything you need to portray whatever emotions you want, whatever characters you want, etc. There are physical copies available on Amazon. Again, 400 pages. It's a hefty boy. If you want to read the table of contents, click here, and it will tell you everything that this book covers. All right? You can look through each of the chapters. You can see all the things taught in each chapter and how they're broken up. These are all lessons taught in a way that builds on the others. So it's a cumulative development. Basically, this is like if you were to hire me as a private teacher and you wanted me to teach you everything I could possibly teach you about composing. This is what I would teach you. This is the order I would teach it in, and this is how I would teach it. So it starts from learning how to read sheet music. Well, it learns about learning about the importance of pitch and rhythm and how to use those in the context of learning how to read pitch notation, so you can follow along with all the examples in the book. And then it starts building on harmony. And you start learning about how to create cool chord progressions. You start learning on how to make those sound even cooler with really crazy, awesome tricks like the romantic cadence. You learn how to create chord progressions that sound like full pieces of music only on themselves. Chapter 10, you learn how to apply all of the previous 9 chapters into an actual workflow for creating chord progressions. So I don't just teach you a bunch of theory and leave you high and dry. This is a application-focused book. I teach you all the theory, and then I focus on teaching you how to actually apply it in a way that allows you to write music. Then part 2 is all about structure and melody writing. It teaches you about my approach to how you can tell stories with music and how you can write themes that portray characters and emotions. Teach you how to make strong motifs and turn those into melodies, and then how to create other melodic type things like counter melodies and counterpoint. I teach you how to take ideas and put them into full-length pieces of music so that you can no longer get stuck at just 16 bars. You can now write a whole symphony if you wanted to, or a programmed symphony, because I don't actually go into, I don't go into sonata form. But yeah, you can create all the ideas how to create themes that sound related but are still contrasting. Then after that, after you learn everything you need to know about musical form, structure, and melody writing, part 3 is about orchestration. How do you use instruments in the orchestra? How do you use them in a DAW? How do you actually arrange music from a piano sketch for a full orchestra and make it sound good? Then once you've learned all of that, it moves on to how to mix and master your music and make it sound like a professional level with your sound libraries that you have. Until finally, at the very end, it has a summary of everything that you've learned, application for how to apply everything. I have some final inspirational words, and then of course the appendix and glossary of terms of all the music theory stuff that came there. Didn't expect to go through the whole table of contents, but yeah, check it out. $60, pretty good deal for the amount of knowledge that goes in here. And again, physical copies are available on Amazon. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know why I went into that, but you boys got to eat, so buy some stuff, right? So we've got our melody, we've got our chords. No, we don't have our melody. We have a proto-melody. We have a basic idea. So let's listen to this again so I can remember how it goes, and then we can start adding rhythm to it and make it sound like an actual melody. Let's see here. So let's start with the first 2 bars. Let's see here. What if we expanded this? Would that be too slow? I kind of like that. So let's try if we did a little. Let's add 16th notes at the end, actually. A little grace. Nope, that does not sound good. What was that? What was that going? Why did I go up the octave singing? There we go. Let's try that. Dun, dun, dun. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just combine these. Let's trial and error at this point. Bum, dum, bum, bum, bum. What if we bring this over here? So let's bring this down over here. Let's try putting this in strings, actually. See how this would sound in high strings. Let's see, let's go. Da, da, bum. Dum. See how this sounds. Then I'll check out the comments, because I realize now I have not been paying attention to you guys. Sorry. What if we did a tritone? Kind of like that. What if we split that up, made it a little naughty, a little like trying to sneak past the fact that we use a tritone. kind of like that. Okay, hold up. Oh, wait, I gotta check your comments. All right, let's see. What are people saying that? It's unfortunately. So Jack's talking about add the C into this chord. So having a little dissonance. I do like that. I do like that quite a bit. So instead of going, we go. I like that. It's a little bit extra crunch and dissonance. Douglas, unfortunately, I need to leave. Can't wait to see or hear how this ends and how you got there. Well, thank you for stopping by, Douglas. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the engagement. And I hope you like the final product when it comes out. Dotted quarter notes could portray the longing feelings. Ooh, dotted half notes. Yes, very much. So yeah, that is a wonderful example of a gesture, Jack. The idea where you get an idea for how can your music portray this specific emotion. Not everything needs to have a specific fancy designation like valence, size, or energy. A lot of the time, just your gut instincts are the best ideas that are going to come to you, right? So very much that kind of delayed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to shorten this. I don't like this leap from G to E. Alright, so we have, it's supposed to be an F, but there's no F in E major. So what if we just committed to the leap down? And then it was, we shortened these again. What if we lengthen that one? Nah, just keep it short. All right, so there we go. We got that. Is this ending? Let's doctor up this ending a little bit. Ooh, let's try to sneak in another tritone, actually. Kind of like that. I like that better. So let's listen to the top of that second half of the phrase. What if we... Let's see. I like that. All right, so let's just lengthen this a little bit. And we've got our melody, because I can't spend too much time on the melody here, because I do have a prior engagement later this evening. And we might change it. We might have some shifts here and there as I arrange this and work on it. But for now, that's good. We've got our melody. So let's review our notes. So we took care of the harmony. We got the 7th chords to create both dark and bright colors. Done. Don't have instrumentation yet. We have used emphasized dissonant leaps in the melody. Definitely true. We've got a couple tritones in there. We open right up with a 7th. All right, and then we've got incremental complexity will come with the arrangement. Instrument, same with the grow. We got that. Let's create our accompaniment next, shall we? We decided that there was going to be a crush motif, right? I decided I wanted to have the melody, but I also wanted there to be kind of a motif that's much sweeter. So the motif in the background is supposed to represent the persistent emotion, the persistent love, the persistent crush going on. So this one needs to be a little more positive. So the first thing that comes to mind for me is I want to create something with these 2 notes here. So remember how I said 7th chords are combinations of minor and major most of the time. These bottom 2 are A minor. This bottom chord is A minor. And if you look at these top 3, it is C major. But what they both have in common are C and E, which create a major 3rd, which is a very bright color. So let's make it out of triplets. Something to show that if it's triplets, then it's grouped in 3s instead of grouped of 2s. So for example, triplet 8th notes. We have 3 notes in 1 beat, but in a regular, we would only have room for 2. So this is another idea of a gesture. Building this motif out of triplets shows that the character who is in love and the actual object of the love, the actual person, the love interest, are not in sync together. All right, so the love is out of sync with reality, and the way you portray that in this case is by creating triplets to show that they keep time differently. Da, 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 da. And then we can add 1. Let's see this. That seems a bit harsh. What might be the velocity? What if we changed one of these rather? Nah, that sounds a bit too campy. How are we gonna do this? I need to create something. Maybe more of a rising figure. And what if we lowered this? Let's mute the chord. Move this melody up. Just so we have a bit more space. We can find the actual correct registers for this later. What if we bring this velocity down a little bit so it doesn't sound so harsh. And what if we build it up a little bit, then have it come back down again? Let's see how this sounds. Not sure how I like this. How to create something. It seems a little more complicated. What ideas you guys got? Let's see. Legal Van, hi there. A bit late, but excited to follow along now. Wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. So right now, just creating a arpeggio for the love motif. What if we just did something super simple? What if I'm overthinking it? What if we just create... And then we could emphasize the top. See if that creates a little more personality. don't like that. What if we did... That could be potential. I'm overthinking it. Let's just try using this one. So then we would do this same one, but we'd start with... We would emphasize F major is what I want to emphasize. Because what I'm doing is I'm taking these minor chords, A minor, 7, and D minor 7, and I want to emphasize the major chords versions of them. So actually, let's bring, instead of creating this giant thing, let's make it take less space up. Like this. All right, I like this. It's starting to take shape. Let's mute this. Mute this. And then let's copy it over here. And we need to make this one G major. So let's bring it up to D. Bring that. Let's do B. All right, y'all. Jack. I suck at ostinati, so I'm out. It depends. Since I'm trying to create something, I usually enjoy making ostinati right now, but there's always the added proponent of having to do it live in front of people. But thank you. Sven, I like the first half of your first idea. Ooh, thank you. I can't remember what my first idea was, unfortunately. Let's try this. And then let's do A minor again. And I've got some cool ideas of some stuff we could do here. Let's see here. Grab this one. And then it needs to be G sharp. Then we could do, what's going on here? Why is there, oh, I must have just copied one by accident. Then we need one for F major, because we actually have F major over here. And then we will do G sharp. So let's listen to it from the top. Sounds very sweet, little lovely. Which is good, because that was the point. This is supposed to be representative of like the actual crush itself, like the beautiful little love, young love emotions. So then, let's remove the melody. Let's raise this an octave. I feel like it should be above the melody. We will drop these chords down to make room for the melody here. We'll copy and paste all of this. Put it over here for the incremental complexity. And why does it always swap to grid relative? No, I want grid. Let's mute the chords from now and see how it sounds with the melody when we add it. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. Piano sketches are always a little rough, but that's fine. Let's add a bass line now, shall we? Let's start with a bass line, and then we can start filling in the rest of the stuff if we feel like we need to. So since these chords are emphasizing the upper half, it only makes sense that the bass line is going to have to really anchor us in the true blue nature of these chords. So we're going to start with the roots first, but then we can create something more interesting. Let's drop these a couple octaves again. Let's lower the velocity a bit, and let's drop these an octave again. Awesome. So it's starting to come there. Let's add a bit more rhythm. Let's make this bass line a bit more interesting, because I usually just stick with the roots in this video, in these types of streams. Let's make it a bit more interesting. Let's add a bit more. And then from D minor. Just creating a short repeating pattern. So let's see how this sounds. Let's do actually start with the D. No, that doesn't sound right. Dun, 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 dun. Come back up. Alright, so then let's drop these again and add the bass line underneath this melody. First, let's double check. Is it going to cause any dissonant marks anytime two notes initiate at the same time? This is called articulating at the time when they start at the same exact beat. A to A, no. G to E, no. F to D, nope. 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 Ooh. That might cause issues. So that's technically a tritone if we were to collapse it. We'll see how it goes, though. Let's play it and see. Oh, that could also cause some issues. Let's see here. So this is going to be an A flat G sharp. We could probably just do C, and that would take care of it. Okay, let's listen to it first. Oh, let's do go to D. Let's see how that sounds. All right, awesome. So there we go. We've got the basics of our material. So let's just, first let's get rid of this and take our repaired bass line. I didn't really hear any issues with the tritone between, where was it? F and B. I think that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's start orchestrating, shall we? Any questions? All right, so let's see here. Jack, I suck at so we got that one. Debraj, simple and consistent third and fifth can work. Yes, that's basically, yeah, for the bass line, definitely. No, wait, no, you're not talking about the third. The third wouldn't work for the bass line. But yes, for the ostinati, just the nice, consistent sound. The repetition is what's going to make it sound musical. It's better in a higher register. I still feel like the melody would sound better in a higher register, Sven says. It could. I'm planning on giving it to solo cello, though. So I think it would work. It's just I like the idea of using a solo stringed instrument. And I like the idea, the poetic imagery of the love motif, of the actual crush motif, being unobtainable, being high above the rest of the melody, being something I can look up at and desire and yearn for, but can never actually reach out and grab for itself. That is, again, a gesture. Remember, gestures in music are musical metaphors. They're just ideas. Ideas where you go, oh, the music could represent this. Or if I do this, it could represent that. That's what a musical gesture is. Don't get too worried. If you want to learn how to create, how to consistently create impactful gestures, that's part of the class. Class is open for enrollment. It starts June 3rd, weekly. You take it at your own pace, but there are weekly assignments that you can do to get detailed feedback. There are 6 live lectures that are restricted only to members of the class. Get part of a Discord group where you can meet people and discuss your ideas and share ideas. Check it out, depending on how many people. I did a poll to see how interested people were in this. We'll see if it keeps going. If you don't want to do the class or you can't do the payment, even though there are payment options, I have a book that's basically just all the notes from the class that you can purchase and read along on your own. The main difference, and lots of great reviews, thank you people. The main difference between the book and the class is the actual lectures and like live get-togethers, the Discord group, and the feedback, detailed feedback on all the music you submit while doing the class. So check it out. But for now, let's start building our arrangement, shall we? Let's start with the low strings. Just add the bass line. I'm going to actually play this in, I think. That's a simple enough thing that we can play in. So let's mute this. And this could probably actually be played in octave lower. Let's make sure we are using the right articulations. I want something long. Let's see. Long, there we go. Let's record it in. Okay, what's going on here? Why did it not sound? There we go. Let's open this up. Again, why is that? Oh, I know what's going on. It is defaulting to spiccato. So let's go back. There we go. There we go. We will delete that there. We will just copy and paste this here to speed things up. Let's look at our modulation data. Let's take this. Let's just everything from the part where it was played. Copy and paste that as well. Oops, let's get rid of this first. Let's bridge this gap a little bit. And let's listen to it soloed. All right, so now let's find a solo cello, shall we? Not synth. I want contact. Let's do Spitfire solo strings. Although this one usually, in my opinion, requires a bit of work out of the box to sound good. Let's do legato patches. Let's do cello. Let's try total performance. It's technically the more powerful of the two. It's just I don't have a lot of practice with it, so I might not be able to get the most out of it in a live stream. All right, the B and F tritone adds a nice crunch. This whole piece is really crunchy. Yes, really crunchy. Yep, that's the point. I kind of like the crunch. That helps add the pain and bittersweet nature of the unrequited love, right? Let's see here. Do you have the Tina Guo cello? I don't. I simultaneously have a lot of libraries and not many libraries at all. I have a lot of libraries, just not a lot of the standard ones that a lot of other composers seem to have. I have Albion 1 and I have Albion 1 and Metropolis Arcs 1 and 2, which are as far as I go in terms of like standard that lots of people recommend. But I don't use either of them very frequently because they're ensemble patches, meaning that instead of violin 1, violin 2, violas, cello, and basses, it goes high strings, low strings, or in the case of Albion 1, just strings. And I like to have my individual instruments. Same with like having the individual flutes, individual oboe libraries and stuff. Let's see here. Of course, it's going to take a while to load because it's a very heavy-duty library. Let's see here. La 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 la. Excellent. Let's pull this up. Let's practice it a couple times. It's taking a while to load. So it's still loading. So the reason why it's clipping in and out, it's a learning moment. You'll see here, yellow, it means it's still loading all the samples. And when you see something blinking red like that, it means I'm trying to use a sample that hasn't fully loaded yet. See? So we're gonna have to wait for this to fully load. Anybody got any questions, any comments? Jack, the Guo cello is so powerful. It tends to overwhelm everything else it's with, so you do have to fiddle with it. That tends to be the case. Lots of libraries have their own personalities and the music that they work best for, which makes sense because a sample library is literally just an instrument recorded within one specific moment in time. So the kind of music it was intended for is going to have a big impact on the quality of the sound. Sven, why don't you just buy Musio? It includes everything from cinesamples, including the Tina Guo cellos. I have heard very good things about Musio. I might just get it. We'll see. We'll see. At the moment, I'm not really in the market for new libraries, but who knows? Maybe I'll reach out and see if I can get a discount, an influencer. I hate saying that. Just I don't identify as an influencer. I don't consider myself as an influencer, but if it gets me free stuff, I'll do it. It is a beautiful library. I do love this library quite a bit. It just requires a bit of handling. So let's try recording, shall we? I feel like those last parts need to be a little less legato. Wrong library. Where's it? Oh, it didn't record, did it? All right. Back we go. One more time. We'll call that one for fun. And then let's quantize all of this a little bit, shall we? I think the lowest note value was the 16th note. Maybe that was a bit much. Let's do eighths. Let's bring this one in. Let's create a general increase before we come up. So let's listen to the bass line. So this one comes about minus 26. Comes minus 8. So let's drop this down a bit. So let's take a look at these actually. What's going on here? Are they overlapping? That's why. They are overlapping each other. Oh yeah, I forgot to change the octave of my teeny tiny little keyboard that I use. Let's raise it. There we go. That should help. There we go. Alright, sounds good. Let's change the velocity a little bit, shall we? I didn't play that in quite as well as I'd like. Then I'll take a look at comments again. Let's see here. What's going on? What happened to it? Oh, there we go. Just see here. A couple things I wanted to change. Let's drop this in a little bit. Let's patch this up. There we go. Got that. Let's bring this up a little bit. Bridge this a little bit. Let's listen to it one more time. I think the will be good. Sounds good. Let's bring this velocity up a little bit too to mark that it is the beginning of a new phrase. Alright, awesome. So that's about as good as what we're going to get for now. Sven. I think you should include an oboe in this piece. Maybe doubling the melody since it gives a romantic... Ooh, I like that. Let's add an oboe, shall we? Especially because this cello part is written, I believe, in a perfect range for oboe. No, not oboe. This would need to be English horn. But yeah, so let's add an English horn and have the English horn play it. Or a cor anglais. Jack says, I'm an influencer, gives the same energy as I'm a yelper. Yeah, I try not to identify as an interviewer. or an influencer. It's nothing I ever aspire to. But at the same time, I'm not completely blind to the kind of work I do. All right, not oboe solo. Let's do cor anglais. And let's do long. Oh, we'll just try copying and pasting, see if it works. Y'all are being super quiet. Any questions? Any ideas? Any observations? Are y'all learning stuff? Let me know. I want to make sure that you're learning things. That this is helpful. Let's try it. Let's see how the oboe and cello sound. Or cor anglais. To change something here. Legato techniques. There we go. Don't need oboe. Oh, does it not have? No, here it is. Here it is. I was going to say professional library, my foot. But no, it does. It does. That's awesome. So let's just play it in again, shall we? Mute it. Raise an octave. Let's get rid of the velocity. See here. Oops, wrong octave. All right, awesome. So we're good. Let's record it. Oh, so close. I was getting proud of myself because I hadn't messed up yet. All right, so let's listen to it. All right, good. Sounds good. Now, this is all sounding super sad. All right? We need to add that melancholy feel. So now we need to find an instrument that can play. What's going on here? Here we go. We need to find an instrument that can play this ostinato up here. What if we tried harp? Let's try the harp. Because in the harp, I'm at that load of harp library. I don't have one prepped in this template. Main techniques. Because the harp could play this arpeggio on the right hand and double on the bass line underneath with plucks. Give the bass line a little bonk, more of a plunky sound. Let's see here. Very helpful. It is. Okay, awesome. Very helpful. Let's see here. Okay, good. So people do just enjoy watching me work. That's good. Sven, observation. This piece lacks movement somehow. Maybe a counterpoint and counter melody or another ostinato. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully, it livens up a bit once we actually add this ostinato to the mix. We could definitely add more to it though. Oh shoot! It's already almost 4:30. Let's see here. So we're at the speed. I have to speed this up because I'm meeting up with my sister and my brother-in-law to go see the new Furiosa movie. So I'm excited about it. I always love going to the movies. Normale, that sounds good. Slide, no, we don't need a slide. Let's just do it normale. Let's do copy and paste it. And then we'll just add the bass line in the left hand. Let's drop the whole thing. Let's add this. Copy and paste it. Let's just try listening to everything together so far. All right, so it sounds a little frail, actually. So first, let's put all of these in the sketch in their proper registers. Basically, drop everything an octave. See what we can create here. What if we just emphasized some of the chordal tones. So this was A minor, so D minor, so let's do D, F, A, C. So it was D minor. So it was C, E, F, A. Let's do F and A, actually. F and C, we'll leave it C. So what if we just, basically what I'm saying, like, what if we added some more strings to the mix? Some soft sustained strings. So let's do A minor. And so then let's make sure that we're filling out, that I'm avoiding. I want to avoid clashing with the melody, actually. So let's fill this in above here. Let's do C, E, and then we'll do, so this is D and A. This is a D, F, A, C. We'll do C and A down here, so we avoid entirely. We're going to raise these. I'm going to change this to alto, so we can see the parts. No, not part, voice. There you go. So the altos, we're going to have the alto parts stick out with a different color. So then we could do A minor again underneath here. So we'll do A minor 7, actually. So let's do, change these to alto again. Actually, we could bring this up here. As long as we're just not overlapping with the melody. And then it was E minor 7, right? No, yeah, E minor 7, so let's do E. G, B, D, no, let's not do D. Change the voices again. Well, let's just see how this sounds before we do much else. Let's see how this sounds on strings. I'm going to bring that over here. We're just going to go to not high brass. Let's do high strings. Let's make sure it's set to sustain. So yeah, let's do this. I'm just going to play it in. Not the most well-written part, but we can see how it goes. Let's see here. No, I don't care much for the chords. What if we did a counter melody? Bring this back over here. What if we got a counter melody going? Yeah, I hear you, Sven. There's definitely something missing here. But in the meantime, what if we simply double this ostinato in the high strings? An idea occurs to me. What if... Nope, wrong one. What if we took the ostinati and we removed these halves and we just had... Here we go, where is it? We just had the strings act as accents, accentuation. Let's try that. Just see how it goes. See how it sounds with the harp first. So let's unmute everybody. Let's do high strings and harp first. I think that works. The mix is going to need some tweaking here and there. Let's bring it out. We just need to do the first 8 bars. Then we can copy and paste. And we'll add some modulation data, of course. This is turning out to be quite the interesting challenge. I think something that's throwing me off today is usually I orchestrate in notation software. My finale down here. Working with a DAW is always a little weird. I get caught up in the sound of the libraries. Let's see here. Am I on the right ones? Yep, so let's do this. There we go. Let's delete this over here. We're adding a little bit of accents to the arpeggio. Let's get this up there. Get the modulation data. Paste that. So then what is missing still? Let's see here. Let's emphasize, we'll add some more strings underneath it. The G, emphasize that. Which one is not being emphasized here? Let's do F, A minor. We'll do G again. And then we want to avoid F here because that would be a clash with the E. Oh, yeah, because it's not part of the chord. Let's do G. Then we'll do G again. We will do G sharp. We will do A. And then which one's not being emphasized? We can do F. All right, so then let's take this. Let's try adding it. Oh, shoot, this is the bass line, isn't it? I wanted to see if this would clash with the melody. So let's give this a different color. And let's copy and paste it over here. Ah, see, yep, it clashes with the melody. So let's redo this. Let's get the melody a different voice. So let's see here. Let's change these to tenor. So we got a nice color change here. So let's redo this. Which note are we not emphasizing? G could probably stay. F cannot because that overlaps directly. So let's just do A there. G is good. G is good. G is good. G sharp is fine. A is fine. And it's just... let's bring this down to... E does not belong in this chord. Let's do D. There we go. All right, so this is the part we will give to our strings and see if this helps at all. So let's exit out of here. Let's go to mid strings just to give us a fresh, clean track. Let's try recording it in, shall we? Let's mute this. Raise it an octave. Let's change this articulation to long. Let's record it in, shall we? All right. I want to give this a bit more movement. So let's go back to our sketch. Replace it where it was. Give it the tenor again, was it? No, it was let's do alto. They're different colors. Well, it's supposed to be different colors. Assign alto voice, tenor, bass. It was muted. Haha, that's on me. G is fine, A is fine. It was this one down here. It felt like it was too stationary. So let's do, this is an E minor. Let's just go down to E. Go down to E. Or what if we went down to D? No, because D is emphasized up here. So let's do D. And then we'll do G again. G sharp, A. And then I felt like I wanted to climb. So now let's do this one instead. We'll leave that there. Let's remove this. Add it here, raise it an octave, mute it. Check out the modulation. Delete the modulation. Let's copy and paste this twice so we know it's both there. And let's just play it in again, shall we? Alright, so there we go. Still not perfect. I'm running out of time, though. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Oh, let's listen to it with the melody, shall we? Let's see how this goes. I have an idea. Instead of the cor anglais, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. What if I try the French horn instead? Oh, why did I make a new one? I have French horns on this one already. Let's just do it here. Where does this one start? Measure 8. Let's try mid bass. It's short horns. Let's do long. Right, there we go. No, I'm not happy with this. But not every piece that you write can be a banger or a winner. What don't I like about this? Could be just the mix. Let's look at everything out from about. All right, so let's give everything a color. We'll give the melody all the same color. Why don't I like this? What is wrong with it? What did I mess up? What did I not get right? Let's open this. Let's look at it from part. Who is this? Did I not delete the... Let's delete these. Let's delete any unnecessary parts. I feel like I'm making a very rudimentary mistake with my arrangement. There's something very simple that I have forgotten or not paid attention to. What is it? What mistake have I made? Anything else? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this. Now I've deleted all of the unnecessary guides. Let's take a look at the full arrangement. There's a significant gap in the middle, but then that gets filled in by the melody. Let's see, what do you guys think? Sven, I feel like the mix is too busy now. True. What if I try using the treble or flautando? So flautando or... That could be interesting. What kind of techniques do I have? It does feel a little busy at the moment. So, what do I got here? Pizzicato con legno con sordino. I feel like tremolo would be a bit much. So what if we... So what if I get rid of the first measure of these mid strings? And what if I get rid of the first phrase in the high strings? got an idea. What if we double down on the idea of incremental complexity? So take these. Let's chop this at measure 9. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stretch everything out into 3 phrases. Make sure everything starts right on the beat. Okay, why does it always do this? It should be on grid, not grid relative. All right, let's see here. Then we mute this. If we would just give it to solo cello at first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try doing just the harp. Then the harp and solo cello plus low strings. And see what happens if everything comes in more gradually. See here. Harp needs to keep going, obviously. Alright, so those high strings are just not needed at all. They were making it too busy. Let's try this from top of them. Let's see what I got. What if we bring the low strings back? Still not happy. Which I guess is kind of ironic given the emotion we're trying to do here. What am I doing? I feel like now the ostinato is too busy. What if we try doing triplet quarter notes instead? What would that sound like? No. Grid, not grid relative. Why does it keep going back? I've never had this issue before. And then what if we did the other half down this way? So what if we just basically stretched everything out a bit more? kind of like that. What do you guys think if we slow it down? Oh, got lots of comments now. All right, how about let's see, the mix is too busy. I agree. Douglas, how about the clarinet on the melody instead of French horn? I do kind of like the idea of using a clarinet instead. The French horn I feel is like a bit too strong, so I agree. Maybe we'll try that. Sven, also your original idea was to have a very dark melody on the cello. Now that this thing feels much brighter. I didn't want a super dark melody. I wanted something darker, which I think I feel like that's plenty dark. What if we get rid of the cello? What if it is just cor anglais? And I kind of like the idea. What if we do clarinet instead? See, clarinet solo legato. Let's see here. Debraj, somehow I feel like the harp part is too energetic. Same. I think I'm gonna slow it down. Okay. So the older Cubase tabletop using look better than the new Cubase. Yes, I like Cubase. I use Cubase 9.5. It's ancient compared to what they have, but I know it really, really well. And so far, I have no need to upgrade. I probably will eventually, but I like this version. I really do. Let's see here. Let's see how it sounds on the clarinet. So let's fix this harp. I don't like how energetic the harp is either. I feel like it's too energetic. So we had... There we go. And then it was... This was E minor. This. It's another A minor. Then over here was E major. So we'll grab this one, copy and paste that, just raise the G to G sharp. Then this was F major. So we'll take the G, we'll take the E, make it F. Make that A. Then it was F minor. Take this, copy and paste that. Make that F. Make that A. Make that C. Copy and paste this over here. Let's see how it sounds together now, shall we? It's better. Still not what I want, though. And at this point, I'm not sure I'm going to have enough time to do what I want. Let's see here. Let's see what other suggestions you have. Yep. Say a harp part is too big. The intervals of the 6 is my favorite to start out the melody. Right? Which, this is technically a 7th. So the A to a... So it goes from a... That's a 7th to a 6th. So it's the 6 is kind of implied. So Invasion says it sounds good. Thank you. Is that a harp? Yes, there is a harp in here. I hear the dominant 7th interval in there. Definitely. That would be the tritone. And then Invasion, what kind of sound? That's a sound like... Yes, this is a harp up here. So I should name that. I don't know. Do you guys think this hits the vibe or not? Does this sound... Let's mix it a little bit, shall we? Well, I don't want to mix it because the pink noise method is very annoying. Just mix everything compared to itself. Let's do this. We'll do Coringlay first. Mute this first half. So why does this... Okay, let's just do it. Alright, so yeah, what do you guys think? Let's listen to the top. Let me know. Do you think this actually hits the vibe of, like, heartache? Yes or no? You know what? Something that I could do that's very simple, that I'm shocked I didn't already do, is just add this to the high strings. Double the melody in the high strings an octave higher. Let's do that. That should be enough to add a little bit more weight. Think. Invasion says this could be a new soundtrack for Spiderwick. Oh, thank you very much. When the evil forces come out in the forest. Oh, I haven't seen Spiderwick in so long. I remember really, really enjoying the movie. Never read the books. I believe they're books, right? I remember really enjoying the movie, though. So thank you very much. Douglas says, I think the melody hits the mark. Not sure about the harp part. Right? I try to do something. And this is the crazy thing about, like, of course, there's always something that you got to do that's differently. The original idea of the harp was part of a gesture. If you guys remember all that work that we did at the beginning. Where is it? No, it was under project. No, but the idea of the harp originally was to create it was a, down here, a gesture. Where's the gestures? Oh, yeah. An ostinato in the arpeggio in the background is a crush motif. I wanted to create kind of like a love motif. Something that was a bit more brighter, something. So it was a kind of idea of me trying to be clever. I don't know if it paid off. Which, of course, that's part of writing music, is you come up with ideas and you see whether it paid off or not. So I'm wondering if it would change, if it would have been improved if we had done a different instrument other than the harp. What if we tried giving this to, like, flutes or something? You know what? Let's try that. What I got woodwinds in here, right? High woods. Okay. So let's try adding it. Let's try adding this to the woodwinds and see what it does. Make sure this is long arranged. No, I don't think that does it. Personally, I don't care much for that. It just sounds a bit too bright. Yeah, right? It sounds too bright. Something solid. Something other than the harp. Okay, so if I start adding too much, like if I try the marimba, for example, the harp, if I can't do harp, my first initial thought is marimba. But if I do that, it's going to start sounding spooky. We're starting to get too far away from the intended vibe. What could I do? What do I do? So yeah, I feel like the melody fits the situation. The melody on top of the chords works really well in terms of creating that sense of like just kind of the sadness, creating the sadness of heartache. I feel it works very well as a generic sad melody. It's the heartache that's missing. I think it's the ostinato. I would have to change the ostinato. I still like the idea of having an ostinato. I just don't think this shape works for it. I need to spend some more time. Maybe it's something less constant. What if it made less of an ostinato, more of like a call and answer motif? Like in Hector Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique, with the idée fixe, which represented something very similar, it represented the love interest, would come in here and there, rather than a constant ostinato in the background. What if I tried that instead? Unfortunately, I don't have time to try that. I'm going to have to call it here soon. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think I succeeded? Do you think I failed? And where do you think I could have done it better? All right? Personally, like I said, my final verdict for my opinion of how this turned out, I think the melody's solid. I think the melody and the chords work well in terms of initiating that heartache, that kind of sadness. I think, so like if we look back at the notes, I think what I did a good job of was presenting that heartache aspect of Unrequited Love. I don't think I got the hope right. I don't think I got the kind of being in a crush and still that part of you that still hopes things can turn out well. I don't think I did that very well. I'd need to spend more time on it. But that's the beautiful thing. I can always try again, right? So I think where things went wrong, I think I didn't spend enough time working on the gestures. I came up with an idea of how to do the heartache pretty well. I knew that I was going to have the melody divorced from the chords to create that space where you have like the A minor, where the chords are mostly focused on the lower triads of the seventh chords, where the melody was built mostly off those extended notes. I think that worked really well. I think where I went wrong and where I should have spent much, much more time was really trying to create this idea of hope, that idea of that still having that yearning, still having the desire that maybe something's going to work out well. I think I should have spent a bit more time trying to figure out my gesture. This idea, I think I had the idea of using an ostinato and arpeggio right off the bat and figured, oh, I wanted something constant in the background. I think that was a mistake. I think if I were to redo this, I would focus more on creating a counter melody. That would be create a love theme type counter melody, almost like a call and response. Oh, I should have done that. I should have done a call and response. I should have had a love theme kind of initial call, something sweet, something romantic, and then something in the response always be something gloomier and a little oh, that's such a better idea. Oh, maybe I'll do another one. Maybe I'll do one later. See, this is the downside of doing it all live. But hopefully this is useful. Maybe you guys can see that not all my ideas are winners, right? You guys get to see that sometimes I do struggle and sometimes my first instincts don't always succeed. Now I'm kicking myself. That call and response would have been such a better idea. Create a classic love theme. Focus on a love theme instead of a sad theme. That's what I should have done. Focus on a love theme. Have the initial call be just a simple, traditional kind of cliche, almost love theme kind of call. Then, but always have the response be a little sad, a little dark, a little melancholy. Oh, that would have been so much better. That would have been so much better. Oh, now I'm kicking myself. Dang it. 2 hours. Why couldn't I think of that 2 hours ago? Oh, whatever. So yeah, I'll stay on for a couple of minutes. Anybody got questions, suggestions, ideas? Next week's live stream is going to be a live feedback stream. So keep an eye out for the announcement on YouTube. Keep an eye out for the announcement on Instagram. And if you want to join the Discord, there is a link in the description of the video for my Discord channel. Join the Discord channel, and I'll make an announcement on there as well. Next week will be live feedback for the stream, which means you have 1 week to submit your music. Well, less than a week, because I only take them up until Thursday. Submit a piece of music 3 minutes or less in length, and a specific ask for what you want feedback on, and I will give you feedback live in front of everybody. It's usually a lot of fun. The comments are usually very supportive. Everybody's really cool. It's a good experience. I do it once a month. Let's see here. Sven, I think this is the hardest time you've ever had in a live stream before. Yes, this definitely is. This is the hardest time I've ever had writing a piece live. I don't know why. Maybe I don't relate to the emotion very much. I should. I don't know. Maybe sometimes the ideas, I think really what it is I got this idea in my head of I was going to use an ostinato and arpeggio, and I ran off with it without thinking critically. It shouldn't have been an ostinato. It should not have been an arpeggio. It should have been something much more lyrical, something more melodic to portray the love, because if you think about it, love isn't really a very rhythmic, ostinatic type experience. It's much more lyrical in nature. I should have done something like that. So it was a mistake. Oh well. But you live and you learn from your mistakes, right? All right, so Sven, so Douglas, tough to do the contrasting field, very much. With more time, no doubt you could. Oh yeah, I am very confident I could do this. Right now, actually, I feel like if I had another 2 hours in my schedule, I think that idea of the call and response is it. I think it's a much more lyrical response. It's less about trying to jam two things at the same time and gets more of a narrative of here's the love, here's the love interest, here's the crush, and then boom, it doesn't pan out. You try again, and then boom, it comes back down. There's a lot of different ways I could have gone with it, but I think the way I tried to take just wasn't the effect I was looking for. So you guys like the idea of the call and response. Thank you. Invasion, it's not bad that you're using harp. It's the sharp ends of the harp. Yes, it's because it was high. It was a high register for the harp, so it made it sound a bit too bright. I don't think the harp was a bad idea either. I think it was the best I could have done, given what I wrote. But I do think the ostinato arpeggio was just the wrong idea for this particular vibe. 23, yep, got to do a retry on this. Attempt number 2 video with a call and response. Maybe next month. I would not be against it. We'll see. Yes, but you have some up with a cool, yes, I did, yeah, so Douglas says, yes, but you would have to come up with a cool melody had you started differently. Would I have? Good point. I probably would have come up with a decent melody, but I do like this melody. I feel like there's something I could do with this. I feel like this won't be the last time I use this melody. Most of the time when I write a cool melody for the streams, I never look at it again. But I kind of like this one. I might do something with it. Let's see here. You have someone with a cool melody. So 23, okay, cool. Maybe I'll try and get a Rage song done in time for the feedback. Ooh, yes, please do. That'd be really cool. Let's see. Invasion Tabletop, thank you for your existence. You helped me a lot with a lot of things. Thank you. I appreciate it. That makes me very happy to know that I'm able to help people, and that's why I do this, right? So thank you for stopping by the stream, Invasion. 23, save the ostinato for the rhythmic part when the love is being made. Yeah, that would probably work a bit better. Matt Lewis, I once stood on a piece of Legos without any shoes on, and that was heartbreak. Yeah, there are many types of heartbreak. I just have another reason why this didn't work. I tried portraying heartache in an 8-bar phrase. The initial sketch right here was an 8-bar thing. Whereas heartache isn't just a mood. Heartache is an experience, especially the kind of unrequited heartache that we were talking about. I should have done a feature piece. I should have done a full... should have told a story with the music, which is what I always tell you guys to do. I should have started off with the beginning of a love theme and then have it kind of go down from there. They're just so... Now I'm getting all the good ideas. Now I'm getting... come on. Let's see here. Sven, unrelated, but could you add more exercises to your music storyteller book? Oh, definitely. In the future, I think. If you need help coming up with more exercises, let me know. I can just send you some that you can practice on your own. So the book that Sven is talking about is this book right here. Well, this isn't the actual physical book because this is just an editor's copy that I use to take notes and stuff. 400 pages. It's a textbook. It is a guide designed to teach you how to compose music. Written by yours truly. Go to my bookshop. Check it out. There's the ebook version, and this link here will take you to Amazon where you can buy a physical copy. Great reviews from people. Thank you very much to everyone who submitted a review. And yeah, this is one of the things I'm most proud of. While I'm advertising for stuff, Emotions and Music class is open for enrollment. If you want to do 6 weeks intensive of diving deep into all the theory and techniques and workflows of writing emotions and music, sign up, all right? 6 weeks, including 6 lessons with yours truly, a Discord channel where you can get to connect with the other students, and weekly feedback on your music. Detailed feedback, 2 to 3 pages that I take the time to sit down and write down at length talking about your music that you submit for the assignments. So check it out. It's a very good deal, very good music, really cool feedback from people from all over the world. Louis says it's the best. He's taken lots of classes, and this is the first one he's ever had that felt like you could immediately apply everything, and it wasn't just theory. Heidi is also from US. She had a great time. I haven't seen a lot of people in a while. So Ava from Austria. Got people from all over. I worked with people in Germany, Austria, Canada, America, all over Europe. I've had a couple students from South America as well. Personally, for my private lessons, I've worked with students on 6 out of the 7 continents, which is really cool. I like bragging about that. Speaking of which, private lessons, you can sign up for those as well. But yes, so I think I'm going to call it here, guys. So thank you very much to everybody. Unfortunately, I feel I was defeated by the prompt and all my good ideas came after this stream. But that happens sometimes. That's the danger of doing live streams and doing everything in front of everybody. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure. I have to speed up my process quite a bit for these live streams. And at the end of the day, I am proud of what I came up with, particularly this melody. I think this melody's got some promise. I might come back to it at some point. Last couple of questions. Invasion, when I started watching Tabletop, I got crazy with my melodies. It's easy for me now. Tabletop ain't nothing to play with, one of the best teachers on YouTube. Thank you very much, Invasion. I really appreciate that. I really do. I take pride in my work as a teacher. So thank you. That means a lot to me. And I love hearing that I'm able to help people out and that I've helped make a difference in people's life. It makes it worth it, right? It makes it worth it to do this kind of stuff. So thank you, Invasion. Douglas, thank you so much. This was so much fun and so helpful. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Douglas. I'll see you next week, probably. Sven, remember to write down all of your ideas you have right now so we can redo a heartache theme in the future. Yes, I will. Actually, probably not, but I'll rewatch the end of the stream because this is going to get posted right afterwards, and I'll have good ideas then. So 23 was a good time anyway. Glad I caught the stream. Have a good one. See you next time, hopefully. See you guys. Yes, I'm probably going to write a love theme, and I'll probably post it to YouTube or Instagram or something. So we'll see. All right. Have a good one, people. I'll see you next week for the live review. See ya.